Once upon a time, in a small village in Nigeria, there lived a woman named Itoro. She was married to a kind and gentle man named Akanu, who loved and cherished her dearly. However, Itoro was not content with her marriage and took out her frustration on Akanu, her husband. In the beginning of their marriage, Itoro and Akanu marriage started out like a dream. Akanu, a hardworking and kind man, had fallen deeply in love with Itoro and she with him, and they had 2 children together. But Akanu had a son named Obinna from his previous relationship. In the early days of their marriage, Akanu was a devoted father and husband. He worked tirelessly to provide for his family, and Itoro was grateful for his love and support. And Akanu treated all 3 children equally, showing them love and care. But as time went on, Itoro began to change. She started to gossip and follow bad women in the village. She would sit under the tree laughing and gossiping about her marriage with her friends, and so her friends did the same. She would compare her life with that of her rich friends and look at them in envy, blaming Akanu for her misfortune. She became increasingly dissatisfied with her life and started to take out her frustration on Akanu. She would complain about his earning and even his parenting style. But Akanu, trying to keep the peace in his house, would listen to his wife rant and try to make amends. Despite his efforts and gifts that he brought for his wife Itoro, Itoro's behavior towards him continued to deteriorate. She would mock him in front of their children, calling him names and even abuse him. Akanu's son Obinna, who had grown close to his stepmother Itoro, was devastated by her behavior and tried to intervene, but Itoro would have none of it. Then tragedy struck when Akanu was involved in a car accident that left him blind. Itoro was devastated, but instead of helping and caring for her ailing husband, she continued to mistreat him. With Akanu's blindness, he was limited to the type of work he could do, but he still wanted to work, so he went to learn pottery and started making beautiful pots. And Itoro also started working. This made Itoro very bitter that her husband was blind and she had to work to also fend for the family. If she did not, they would all have to suffer, and Itoro was angry. Whenever Akanu received money from his little business, he would give his earnings to his wife just to pacify her. But Itoro will take the money from her husband angrily and often spend it on frivolous things, leaving him to struggle on his own without a penny. Itoro's maltreatment of Akanu was relentless. She would mock him for his blindness, calling him useless and helpless. She would withhold food and water from him, leaving him to beg for scrap, and maltreat him even outside in the village. This went on too far. She went on to bring her lover into their home, flaunting her infidelity in Akanu's face. Obinna, who had always been loyal to his father, was so heartbroken by Itoro's behavior and tried to take care of his father as he could do best. Then Obinna took the role of a mother and a father and started to take care of his siblings and his father. He did it to his best of his ability. But Itoro's cruelty grew so bad that whenever Obinna wasn't around, Akanu was forced to start begging to fend for himself. Then the final betrayal came when she began to have an affair with Akanu's best friend, Emeka. Emeka had been a close friend and confidant to Akanu, and Itoro knew this, but she went ahead to bring Emeka into their home and was befriending him. She would often bring Emeka into their house and both of them would be laughing and joking in front of Akanu, and Akanu would hear all of this. He will sit in his corner, feeling very sad, helpless, betrayed, and sometimes shedding a few tears. But God had a way of turning things around. Akanu's kindness and generosity had not gone unnoticed, as a kind woman named Nneoma, one of their neighbors, had taken notice of his situation. Then she began visiting him regularly, taking care of him by bringing him food sometimes and sometimes clothes, or even helping him with his business in the pottery shop. As Nneoma spent more time with Akanu, she realized that he was not just a blind man, but a man with a heart of gold. Began to fall in love with him little by little, and soon Nneoma became Akanu's rock, his confidant and his partner. Itoro did not care at all. She scoffed at the sight of Akanu and Nneoma and would say to herself, after all, what can he offer her? She would laugh so hard, then say to herself, foolish woman, look at her. Nneoma would feel so sorry for Itoro did not know the good man that she married. With Nneoma's help, Akanu began to regain his confidence. Then, Nneoma and Obinna took Akanu to go see a specialist doctor, and a big miracle happened. After a series of treatments, Akanu's sight was restored. Akanu was overjoyed that he could see again. He was very grateful to Nneoma and Obinna, his son. Nneoma then gave Akanu some money to help him with his pottery business, and soon the money he invested into his business made his business to thrive once again, and Akanu now became a bit wealthy. Akanu was very grateful, for he knew it was all thanks to Nneoma's love and care and that of his son Obinna. He then went to the village chief to dissolve his marriage between him and Itoro was shocked to her bone marrow, for she never knew this day would ever come or good fortune would ever smile on Akanu. Then Akanu went on to propose to Nneoma, and she accepted happily, and soon they were married in a beautiful ceremony. As for Itoro, she was left to face the consequences of her action, for Obinna had packed his siblings out of the house to go join his father. Itoro was alone, abandoned by her children and her lover. She was left to live the rest of her days in regret and sorrow. On the other hand, Akanu lived happily ever after with Nneoma and his 3 children, for he never forgot the lesson he had learned from his experience. He continued to be a kind and generous man, and he always made sure to help those in need, knowing that God had given him a second chance in life.